Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond Belief Manifestation Success Stories. Our guest on today's podcast is Andrea. Andrea is a former lawyer turned transformational coach and energy healer for corporate professionals and soulful entrepreneurs. With 6 years of experience in the legal sector, she has intimate encounters with a wide spectrum of challenges faced by high-achieving professionals and is now dedicated to helping ambitious business professionals achieve fulfillment and find purpose in their lives. As a certified NLP practitioner and theta healer, Andrea adopts a holistic approach in empowering her clients to unearth the wellspring of happiness within themselves. Hi, Andrea. How are you?
I'm doing really well, Catherine. How are you?
Good, thanks. That's good to hear. Can you please tell us your manifestation success story, including the practices or techniques that you used?
I would say my biggest manifestation success story would have to be finding my divine purpose and sacred calling. And the way I did it is just through following my joy. So for as long as I could remember, I always wanted to find a career or do work that didn't feel like work, because we spend more than half of our lives actually working, and it didn't make sense to me to just be grinding and doing something that didn't make you happy, even if the money was there. And so, but I didn't really know of any other way. I grew up in a household and society where, I was instilled with beliefs that that in order for you to have success and in order for you to make it, so to speak, and it's so important to make it, you would actually have to be a professional, whether it's a lawyer or engineer or an investment banker, something along those lines. And so I followed that route for as long as I could. I got married, had the white picket fence life. I seemingly had everything, but I just felt so empty inside, but I didn't know where to turn. And I was so afraid of walking into the void and walking into the uncertainty because, being a corporate professional, we're fairly risk averse. We kind of have to know the final destination and the route to go there before we pivot, right? And it wasn't until the pandemic hit that I realized I can't do this anymore. I would rather take my chances than stay in a spot that made me consistently miserable, consistently empty, and consistently unhappy. And so I just thought, what do I feel like doing? Let's be a social media influencer. And from when I made that decision of just following what made me happy, a set of synchronistic events just started happening. From there, I met different people. From there, I connected to different things. I learned to be more self-aware. I learned to actually feel my feelings. And I allowed myself to just courageously follow what brought me bliss and happiness at any given moment in time. So from being a social media influencer, I pivoted to become a social media manager because two people came to me and saw how I was growing my Instagram account. And they said, hey, can you help us do this too? So by the way, I had no experience of being a social media manager, but I thought, yeah, why not? Let's just go and do it. So I did that. And then as I was doing that, I came across a digital nomad coach and I thought, I want to do what she's doing. I want to help other women experience transformative travel the way I experienced it. So I did a course and then I started this digital nomad coaching business that just totally tanked, by the way, because how can I teach someone else how to build their own business and go travel in the middle of a pandemic whilst I'm still trying to build my own business and I'm not even allowed to travel because it's the middle of the pandemic. And so that business tanked and I was feeling burnt out, I was stressed out, and there was all these childhood trauma coming up, but then when it came to time to show up and sell myself and market myself, but at that time I had a choice of thinking, okay, do I deal with the trauma? Do I deal with the fears of uncertainty, of abandonment, of rejection, of failure, and achieve to get to the next stage of this joy that I perceive to be on the other side of all of this? Or do I give up and go back to another legal job? And I thought, no, Andy, no, I'm staying. So I decided to go through a bunch of healing services, I hired a coach and she helped me, I think she did NLP. And so she helped me release some of these fears. And then I started getting more aware and more in tune with myself as well. And during that time, I thought, you know what, I'm so burnt out. I'm so stressed out. This is not bringing me joy. So you know what? I'm going to surrender. You know what? Whatever it is, I'm going to take a break. That's just what I'm going to do. And within that time, what was amazing is that I learned about feminine energy. I learned about masculine energy through my housemate. And I happened to open up my LinkedIn inbox, and a coach, he's a director of a coaching institute, of his own coaching institute. He messaged me and said, hey, I've got a bunch of marketing consultants. Would you like to coach them with me? And literally I was offered a job on a silver platter while I was resting, doing nothing, literally doing nothing, walking around in pajamas all day, just chilling, self-care, just being happy, doing me. And suddenly a job landed. And obviously she's a mindset coach, and I have never done mindset coaching before. And I didn't really know what mindset was, to be honest, at this point. This was end of 2021, second half of 2021. I had no idea what mindset was, by the way. And so I thought, and because I had taken this break and I'm feeling really good, I'm not burnt out, I'm not stressed out, I'm not in a state of limited capacity. So I thought, yeah, let's go do this. And so he taught me his entire program, and I got to coach 10 beautiful marketing consultants situated all over the world. And at the end of that year, I was randomly invited to this thing called a Tantra Challenge. And I don't even know what that is. So I joined it anyway, because why not? It's going to be fun, right? I was following my joy, and through utilizing my sacral energy, I created my entire signature program in like a week or 2 weeks, just like that. And it was phenomenal. And the next year, I thought, okay, I want to take this NLP course. And I took this NLP course. And in that year, right after the NLP course happened, my brother happened to call me saying, oh, can you please come over to Sydney? And just to let you know, me and my brother, we're not close. There's no ill will there. We're just two very different people. And we're just not close at all. We don't really have a lot of contact because there's just no shared interest. So to have him suddenly call me up just like that, saying, hey, do you want to come to Sydney, stay with us and, help us, we need your help with our girls, with our daughters. I thought, yeah, why not? Let's just go do it. And within that time, I was in, as much as I loved how my family relationship with him had healed just like that. And suddenly I have him in my life again. I was also feeling very stuck because I was very much in that masculine energy. I wanted to work on my business. I had finished this NLP course, but at the same time, I couldn't because I didn't have capacity because I was there. I was looking after his daughters. I was tired as well. And then I just didn't know what to do. I was back in that space where I was crying, most days because I wanted to work on this, and the drive and that determination, that driven by that fear of failure and that desperate need to succeed was so strong, and I couldn't deal with it until I spoke to my friend, and my friend was like, Andy, why don't you've always followed your curiosity, why don't you've talked about wanting to meet your star family for some time, why don't you just don't worry about the business for a while, just take a break and do that. And so I contacted a friend of mine who's like a trance channeler, and I don't know anything about trance channeling, obviously. At that time, I thought, let's speak to the Arcturians. I happen to know that they happen to be one bit of my star family. And as part of that, as part of her service, she offered theta healing as well. And I don't know what theta healing is. I want to let you know, all of these things, I can't research them because I don't know what they are. It's like I have no idea things like that exist. And because I have no idea things like that exist, I can't look them up. I can't go and research them. I can't ask someone about them because I don't know it is a thing to even ask about, right? And so when I finished that service with her, I felt this huge weight just lift, and I immediately signed up for all the theta healing courses for the rest of the year because I wanted to be certified as a theta healer. This is a service that I wanted to that I want to offer to my clients. And so later in the year, and that was what I did. It was an entire year of deconditioning and emptying of my cup, so to speak, of all the subconscious programming so that I'm an empty cup and I get to fill it with beautiful love, light, attunement, self-awareness. And within that time, my parents came over to Sydney as well. And they invited me to go back to Malaysia. And normally I don't want to go back to Malaysia. I never ever wanted, because it's like a place of rejection and alienation and all of those things. But I decided to go back, and that brought us to, I think, last year. I came back to Malaysia for 10 whole months. It was an epic homecoming, Catherine. It was a homecoming to my family, a homecoming to my society, to my culture, to my religion, though not in the same way, to all the beautiful things. And it was amazing. It was transformative. And this country, this place where I used to feel nothing but isolation and rejection and alienation, just being a huge sense of not belonging, it has now become the home that I crave to come home to. And now I'm back here again. And in just like that, I got my parents back as well. Because I used to have a really, really terrible relationship with my mom. We both had very strong personalities, and she was actually the one that, really pushed me out of my comfort zone and really challenged my self-worth. And, I didn't think that we could ever have a good relationship ever again. Like, it was just so bad. But now we are tight as thieves. And just in 1 year, just like that, everything the past 3 years, it was just bam, 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 bam. Everything just fell into place. Everything was healed, and everything is amazing. And now I've been working in facilitating meditations, portal gateways, and stuff like that. And for all the years that I have felt like something was wrong, for now, I feel like for the first time ever, actually from last year onwards, for the first time ever, when I facilitate these gateway events, when I facilitate these healings, these quantum therapy sessions, these soul growth sessions, soul journeys, and inner healing sessions, I feel the most me that I have ever felt in my life, truly. And to get from knowing nothing to succeed, to not knowing that personal development existed, to not knowing what mindset was in 2020 to 2023, and to accessing my soul frequency, to feeling the most me and finding my sacred calling in 3 years, to me, that is unbelievable. I'm still trying to register it now. And the way I did it is just by following my joy, following what piqued my curiosity at any given time, and whilst at the same time remaining completely detached from the outcome, allowing myself to just follow the next step that is right in front of me at any given moment, not trying to foresee the future, not trying to predict where it's going to go, not trying to see what this particular event is going to get me. It's not that, it's just following at any given moment what brought me joy, and allowing anything to come up for healing. And just to let you know, people in the corporate industry, or at least in my experience anyway, we don't like to feel things. We don't like to be emotional. We don't have vulnerability at all. And so to feel things is really, really difficult. And I think, as you know, so much healing happens just from feeling. Sometimes we don't even have to do anything. We don't have to do shadow work even sometimes. We don't even have to do inner child healing. Sometimes we don't even have to change beliefs. Sometimes it's just a matter of allowing emotions to come up and feeling it, dancing it out, going out to nature, like just connecting with the oneness of all that is, connecting and centering to the oneness that is you. Sometimes that is profound enough as it is. And so, yeah, that has been my biggest success manifestation story.
Were there any unexpected challenges or setbacks along your manifestation journey, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I can point out 3 points. I think in mid-2021, when I told you about how my digital nomad coaching business just tanked. So that was like the biggest one of the first setback, because I am so used to working towards something, going at the speed of a freight train and getting what it is that I want. That's how I function, and that's how I normally get everything that I want. But I'm realizing that when you're going deeper within yourself, when you're looking to find your divine purpose, when you're looking to find what your soul came here to do, it's something that is beyond what the mind can actually foresee or predict. And so what I needed to do was to surrender. And at that time, I didn't even know what surrendering meant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was a part of me that felt like, am I giving up? But actually, no, I just surrendered, and I just gave myself some space, because I know that when I was in this state of burnout and stress, I was not going to get anywhere. And so that was the first setback. And I think the second one was when I mentioned how when I was in Sydney in 2022, and I just didn't have capacity when I was with my family. And at that time, the fear of failure really came up. That drive was still there. It was at that time that I realized that I had the most parasitic, toxic relationship to my business. So much of my self-worth was attached and dependent on that business. And it was at that time that I realized how many walls I had, number one, how fortified my walls were, And I felt that I was so alone that I had to get this to work, because if I didn't, I was not going to succeed. And if I did not succeed, I would not gain acceptance from community, acceptance from people, acceptance from my family. And actually, it was at that time that I had to learn to let my guard down, and to let my walls down, and to let people and to let my family see me at my lowest. Because when I did, I let them in. And that was actually how the relationships were healed, just like that. Was through me allowing myself to be vulnerable, to present myself as who I am, so that they can come in and support me. And through them coming in to support me, I'm realizing now, looking back and, introspectively, that I had to let the universe come in to support me. I had to let life come in to support me, because to access my sacred calling that I know nothing about, I had to follow the flow of life. I had to be divinely guided there. And this is not it's the straightest path, but it's also the windy path, because life and the universe, God, creator, however you want to say it, is going to take you down certain paths with certain checkpoints for you to heal, for certain things to come up, so that when you're ready for it, you're ready for the next stage, right? So that's the second setback. And the third one was, I think it was February 2023. I was down with laryngitis. And around this time, I had a few clients, and it came to a point where I was dreading those calls. Normally, I'm not a business person, okay? But I love going on coaching calls. I love going on these healing sessions with clients. And that is the thing that gave me the incentive to run the business. But when I realized I was starting to dread these calls, and it came to my mind that, well, if I'm not even liking these calls anymore, then what's the point of working so hard and going through the suffering of running this business, right? And so when I was caught with laryngitis, I was immobilized, I was sick, I had a lot of time to myself again. And because I was so sick, my mind could not beat me up as much. It could not keep driving me forward at the time. And so I had this really painful realization that I don't want this business. And it also made me really confront some deep-seated beliefs I had about my lack of faith in humanity. And if I didn't care enough about humans, if I didn't care enough about humanity, then I cannot run this business. And I want my business to be a soul-led business, right? And so I decided to let my business go. February 2023, I will never forget that moment. I was on a couch crying so hard about letting this business go, because it was so painful, because there was this huge fear of, if I let this business go, I am literally stepping into the void. I don't know how am I going to support myself? How am I going to achieve success? This success that is meant to bring me everything, right? So I let everything go. Everything that my ego was holding on to, I let it go. And I went back to Malaysia for 10 months. And I had the most magical time. It's like I found who I was again. And I dealt with all the issues around the lack of faith in humanity. And now I'm back. And I want to be in absolute full service to humanity through joy, through what I do best, which is to bring joy, to instill joy, to help people awaken to their joy. Because it is this joy that is going to take you through everything, because joy is really the language in which our soul, our higher self, and our spirit communicates with us. Anything that excites us, anything that makes us really happy, genuinely happy, it's our soul telling us hey, this is the life that you're meant to lead. This is actually who you are, this abundant self, this happy, true, joyful, childlike wonder self. This is actually who you are, and you need to follow that, because this is what your life could actually be. And if there is any part of life that's difficult, it's because there's a part of you that likes the drama, and there's a part of you that's that's here to heal all of that as part of the adventure towards you becoming the joyful, abundant, light, beautiful person, shining star that you are.
What is your website and social media handles so people can connect with you?
So my website is www.andreafung.com, AndreaFung. You can connect with me on Instagram. It's The Andy Ventures. So TheAndiVentures. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well under Andrea Fung.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea, for your amazing manifestation success story.
Thank you for having me, Catherine.
That concludes another incredible episode of Beyond Belief Manifestation Success Stories. We hope you enjoyed these empowering tales of transformation and learned valuable insights that will guide you on your own manifestation journey. If you have a manifestation success story you'd like to share, or if you have any questions about today's episode, connect with us on social media. We love hearing from our amazing listeners. Remember, your thoughts have the power to shape your reality. Keep believing, keep manifesting, and never underestimate the incredible potential within you.